Channel fans and visitors, a big ciao to you all. In this episode, we're going over some of the most interesting facts about Italy. Food, habits, cities, places, and more are going to be revealed, so without further delay, let's dive right into it. A shoe with a rock stuck inside is a great way to describe Italian geography. Okay, maybe not the best way, but the peninsula is shaped like a boot, and in all fairness, filled with big rocks, or mountains as they are otherwise known the Alps, Apennines, and Dolomites. Hot and volcanic, sometimes outright explosive, is a good way to describe an Italian. And maybe they are that way due to the fact that they live right next to three active volcanoes Etna, Stromboli, and Vesuvius. The latter is one of the most dangerous volcanoes in the world because of its proximity to a densely populated area of 3 million people, and the danger is real. In 79 AD, Vesuvius erupted and destroyed the cities of Pompeii and Herculaneum, freezing them in time under a thick layer of ash. If Italy is a boot, then Sicily is the biggest ball to kick around, and Sardinia is the second largest island on the playground. These are the largest two islands in the Mediterranean, but in total Italy owns 450 islands, varying in size and population. The tallest mountain peak in Europe is in the Alps and is shared between Italy and France. It is called Monte Bianco or Mont Blanc and is 4,810 meters. In total, there are over 1,500 lakes in Italy, most of them found in the north of the country. The largest lake in Italy is Lago di Garda, followed by Lago Maggiore and Lago di Como. Might be a boot, but it's a fancy vintage one. Italy has the record for the most UNESCO World Heritage Sites in the world. Stunning natural beauty, historical wonders, and loads of culture mixed together are what make this place special and unique. Rome, Naples, Siena, Pisa, Florence, Venice, Verona, the scenic towns of Cinque Terre, archaeological sites like Pompeii and Herculaneum or the Amalfi Coast, Dolomites, and many more are all listed by UNESCO in their travel guide. Sorry, Heritage Sites list. Within Italy, you can find two smaller independent countries, the microstates of Vatican and San Marino. The Vatican is the smallest country in the world, can be found in Rome, and when it gets upset can simply close its gates, because it's also the only country surrounded completely by a wall. The official language is Latin, it's home to the Pope and the headquarters of the Catholic Church. San Marino sticks to speaking Italian, is built on top of a mountain and has the oldest constitution in the world. The perfect Italian holiday for the Ghostbusters would have to be the island of Poveglia. It's located south of Venice and it was used to dump Black Plague victims, and later on it became a mental asylum where dark experiments were conducted. This might explain a series of unexplained incidents that convinced the authorities to classify it as haunted and ban all visitors. The population of Italy is around 60 million. There is an economic gap between the northern and the southern parts of Italy, with income almost twice as high in the richest region of Italy, South Tyrol, than in the poorest region of Calabria. However, it is widely recognized that the climate is milder and the food and produce taste a little bit better in the south. There are more than 80 million people around the world of Italian descent, with the first wave of massive migration starting around 1880. This trend continues to this day. Currently, an estimated 5 million Italian expats live abroad. There is a national museum dedicated to the people who have left the country located in Genoa. The Republic of Italy has the third largest economy in Europe and the eighth largest global economy by GDP. The country is one of the founding nations of the European Union and is part of the Schengen area, OECD, G7 and G20. The economy is structured around manufacturing, agriculture, tourism and services. The University of Bologna, the oldest in Europe, played a pivotal role during the Renaissance and is still one of the most prestigious institutions in the world. Besides politicians, scientists and important figures, the university's alumni list also include Copernicus, Dante Alighieri, Erasmus of Rotterdam, Umberto Eco and Enzo Ferrari. If you can convince an Italian to go visiting other countries, you can pretty much take him anywhere. That is because the Italian passport is one of the strongest in the world, giving them hassle-free access to more than 190 countries. Florence is the place that started the Renaissance, the cultural movement that pulled Europe out of the Dark Ages. The rulers of the city, the family of Medici, encouraged and promoted prominent figures like Michelangelo, Da Vinci, Donatello, Copernicus and Machiavelli, and more. And so, in the 14th century, the most significant cultural movement in human history started. Italian brands are very desirable and include famous names like Ferrari, Lamborghini, Gucci, Armani, Prada, Versace and Peroni. Synonymous with quality and great design, Italian brands and the label made in Italy are sought over and appreciated in the world. During a typical Italian lunch, more often than not, plans will be made for dinner. That is because they are obsessed with food and you can't really blame them for that. pizza, tortelloni, lasagna, pasta, ravioli, tiramisu, risotto, gnocchi, pesto, and gelato are all Italian inventions, easy to cook and tasty. The margherita pizza was invented in Naples in 1889, though versions of the dish were cooked in the area before that point. Today, Naples is considered the world capital of pizza, and making it, although using simple ingredients, can be a complex process mastered through practice if you want to get it right. You can only eat spaghetti with a fork. Contrary to popular belief, Italians do not use a spoon to aid them in eating the dish, but it is perfectly acceptable to finish the plate with a piece of bread and scoop out any leftover sauce. There is a restaurant tax in Italy known as coperto. It's a charge added for every person at the table, usually just a few euros per person, and it is a tax that covers the cost of service for the restaurant. Just bear in mind this tax is not a tip and your waiter is not getting any of it. The language of music is Italian. Composers like Vivaldi, Verdi and Puccini were all Italian. Opera originated in Italy and the violin and piano were also invented here. Many of Shakespeare's plays are set in Italy, including Julius Caesar, Romeo and Juliet, Othello, The Merchant of Venice, Antony and Cleopatra, Coriolanus, Chamberlain, Much Ado About Nothing, The Taming of the Shrew, The Winter's Tale, Titus Andronicus and The Two Gentlemen of Verona. The largest city in Italy by population is Rome. Milan is the most important city from an economical standpoint. Florence is the cultural capital of the country, and the small village of Acciaroli has the longest life expectancy in the world, with most people here living well over 100 years old. Milan is considered one of the fashion capitals of the world, with a long history in luxury clothing dating back to the Renaissance. At that time, Milan processed quality fabrics brought from Asia through Genoa and Venice. Today, most Italian fashion labels are based in Milan, which has many important shopping quarters, and Milan Fashion Week is one of the most influential events in the industry. Matera is the third oldest human settlement, dating back 10,000 years all the way to the Paleolithic age. The city is an UNESCO World Heritage Site and can be found nestled in the rugged area of Basilicata. Eyeglasses are an Italian invention, and an Italian company controls around 80% of the major names in the industry. Italian eyewear brands include Ray-Ban, Vogue and Oakley. Famous Italian inventions that shaped the world include the automatic rifle, the pistol, torpedoes, the first bank, batteries, the cello, the piano, the violin, concrete, dental fillings, confetti, the espresso machine, eyeglasses, gelato, the jacuzzi, jeans, thermometer, microscopes, the radio, the typewriter, and more. The Italians are the direct descendants of the Romans. The legend says that the city of Rome was founded by twins raised by a wolf, Romulus and Remus. The city quickly expanded to control the rest of Italy from the Greeks and the Etruscans, and then went on to conquer most of the known world at the time. After the fall of the Roman Empire, all Italian regions were controlled by city-states, and it was only in 1861 that Italy became a self-governing country, when the Kingdom of Italy was proclaimed. The origins of the modern calendar can be traced to the Romans. Months like March, June, July, and August were named by them. The Roman Empire was one of the most influential in history, with Rome at its center. At its peak, over 1 million inhabitants lived in Rome, making it the most influential city on earth for centuries. Latin, the language of the Romans, gave rise to the Romance languages: Italian, Spanish, French, Romanian, and Portuguese. Words of Latin origin can be found in almost every European language. Gestures are an integral part of Italian communication, including hand and finger movements, as well as exaggerated facial expressions. Gesticulation can even serve as a substitute for verbal communication at times, but funny enough, most people also use gestures even when speaking on the phone. Cinematic masterpieces shot entirely or partially in Italy include The Talented Mr. Ripley, The Godfather, Hannibal, Under the Tuscan Sun, and many others. Italian cinema is one of the oldest and most influential in film history, beginning just months after the Lumiere brothers' first public screening in 1895. Italian laws can sometimes be confusing, and depending on where you are, you might find yourself in trouble. Some strange laws include a ban on sandcastles in Heraclea, round fishbowls are illegal in Rome, noisy footwear is banned in Capri, and the most bizarre one, dyeing is outright illegal in the city of Falciano del Masico. Italy is the fourth most visited country in the world, with more than 60 million tourists per year. That's one tourist for every person in the country. The most visited cities in Italy are Rome, Venice, Milan, Florence, Turin, and Verona. An important wedding destination. More than 8,000 couples decide to say yes to each other in Italy. Tuscany is the most popular wedding destination, as well as Venice, Rome, or Lake Como. In Sardinia, Sicily, Puglia, Liguria, Tuscany, Sorrento, and everywhere in between on the coastline of Italy there are beautiful white sandy beaches and popular resorts for every budget. In total, there are over 400 blue flag beaches in the country famed for water quality and cleanliness. Producing and drinking wine can be traced down to Roman times, and more than 52% of Italians enjoy sipping it. The country produces almost 20% of the global supply, making it the largest exporter of wine and the largest producer by volume in the world. The industry accounts for 1.5% of Italy's GDP and is worth over 30 billion euros. Famous Italian types of wine include Prosecco, Pinot Grigio, Chianti, Soave, Valpolicella, Montepulciano, Primitivo, Sangiovese, Barolo, and Franciacorta. The average Italian drinks between 2 and 4 coffees a day, and they have perfected this habit into an art, with clear rules and iconic drinks like the espresso, cappuccino, and macchiato. Famous Italian coffee brands include Lavazza, Ili, Segafredo, and Pellini. Because Italy has such a rich historical background, it's very common to find archaeological sites during construction works. This is a problem as many locals are afraid this will delay their projects and add extra cost, so what they do is hide the findings or even worse, destroy them. Being late is not necessarily frowned upon in Italian culture, and more often than not, it's something to be expected during a meeting. The further south you travel through Italy, the longer you should expect the delay to be, probably because in the north they are closer to Switzerland and have better access to quality watches. The most popular sports in Italy are football, volleyball, motorsports, fencing, and rugby. The country has hosted 3 Olympic Games, the national football team has won 4 World Cups, and the rugby team is part of the prestigious Six Nations tournament. Gucci is the most valuable brand in Italy with an estimated value of over 30 billion euros and is the 4th most valuable luxury brand worldwide. Boat and shipbuilding industry is huge in Italy. From producing the iconic Riva speedboats to the great shipyards of Genoa, Livorno, Venice, and Naples, the industry and maritime tradition of Italy are renowned around the world. Christopher Columbus and Marco Polo were Italian, as well as Amerigo Vespucci, from whom the name of America comes. Amerigo Vespucci was the first to understand America as a different continent, discovered the Amazon River, and calculated the circumference of the Earth. He is considered by many to be the greatest navigator and explorer of all time. The number 17 is considered unlucky in Italy, so much so that many hotels and office buildings skip it when naming their floors. House numbers often don't use it, and even the Italian national airline doesn't have a row with the number 17 on their planes. Just in case you haven't noticed, we skipped it as well in this video. Italian families enjoy the presence of their kids long after they are grown-ups, so much so that almost 70% of people aged 18 to 30 still live with mom and dad. Partly because of economic circumstances, but also because a lot of them believe it's not bad to live with parents until they marry. They are known as big babies or bamboccioni, and equally important, it seems Italian parents also enjoy the presence of their grown-up kids and sometimes even force or bribe them into staying at home for longer. The way Italians live can be explained by their philosophy, a simple yet deep way of seeing the world through the lens of la dolce vita. Literally translated as the sweet life, it's an attitude that encourages one to embrace life and its pleasures, music, opera, good food, and enjoy every moment to its full potential. Italy is visited every year by millions, and discovering this beautiful country can be the highlight of a wonderful holiday. Its landscapes, paired with its food and the renowned lifestyle, make this place special. Hopefully, this series of facts will inspire your next trip and add some context to the boot-shaped peninsula and the people on it. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed it, please leave us a like and do share with us other interesting facts you know about in the comments section.